Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel and happy Easter. Originally, I was gonna wear a pair of like Easter bunny ears for this video, but unfortunately, I wasn't able to find them. Anyways, with it being Easter, I figured we'd do a tier list since you guys seem to like these videos. And as the title said, we are going to be ranking Easter candies. As you can see, we got like Hershey's Bunnies, Peeps. Now, unfortunately, I haven't eaten any of these candies in at least like, oh gosh, probably like 5 or 6 years. Those of you that don't know, I'm like super allergic to dairy, and it's not just like the normal lactose intolerance thing that you think of. It's like a genuine allergy. I don't know what happened. I used to eat dairy all the time. I used to be relatively okay with it, and then all of a sudden one morning I tried to eat it, and it was a pretty scary experience. Anyways, we're just gonna go in order here. Hershey's Bunnies. This is gonna go straight into the S tier. I love the Hershey's Bunnies because I'm pretty sure these are the ones that aren't hollow. Like when you bite into it, it's basically like a Hershey bar, but it's shaped like a bunny. I love those things. Which, speaking of the bunnies, when I rank these, it's gonna be a pretty controversial hot take. Anyways, next up we got the Easter M&Ms, which obviously they're gonna go into the S tier. M&Ms are always S tier. It doesn't matter what flavor it is. I absolutely love M&Ms. Well, I used to. I remember I used to go to my grandma's house as a little kid, right? And in her kitchen, she always had this like massive jar that was like filled to the brim with M&Ms. It's sort of like, you know, how most grandmothers would have a jar of cookies, for example, except my grandma, she loved M&Ms. So she had a jar full of M&Ms there, and I remember sneaking out at like 1 in the morning, just grabbing a little handful, going back to the room. And in the back room there, she had like a Wii, so I'd be back there playing the Wii, just munching on my M&Ms. However, at that time when she lived at that house and she started putting out like the jar of M&Ms, that was also when I started to kind of form this dairy allergy. And I remember there was this one time where I tried to do that, and it didn't end so well. Anyway, Peeps. This is also gonna go into the S tier. I love Peeps. I honestly don't know if there's dairy in Peeps. I don't know. I haven't tried to eat any in a couple of years. I'd have to look at the ingredients to see if I'm actually able to eat those. I'm not really a sweets guy. I don't do sweets too often, but like Peeps is like one of my exceptions. I absolutely love Peeps. Back in the day, I could pound a pack of those things easily. This may sound weird, like, well, obviously I prefer Peeps fresh, you know, fresh out the box, you know, they're real plush, they're soft, they almost like melt in your mouth. There's something kind of oddly satisfying about when Peeps get like semi-stale after like 2 or 3 days, and there's like that slight, not really a crunch, but there's like a little crisp to it just because they've gone slightly stale. I don't know, it's really weird to explain, and it probably sounds gross, and some people probably really disagree, but I find it oddly satisfying and still really tasty. Next up, we got Reese's Eggs. Man, I'm putting like all of these in the S tier. I can't help it, these are just so delicious. I mean, they're like Easter candies, they're chocolates, they're supposed to be delicious. If they weren't going in the S tier, it would be a little bit worrisome, but don't worry, there's definitely some that I'm looking at through here that aren't necessarily going to be getting the S tier. But anyway, the Reese's Eggs, straight into the S tier. Just straight into the S tier. It's a Reese's peanut butter cup, but instead of it being a peanut butter cup, it's a peanut butter egg. I've always loved that about Reese's, that beautiful dynamic of chocolate and peanut butter. And even though I can't eat like normal Reese's cups or Reese's Pieces or any of that, I'm actually still able to eat Reese's Puffs because surprisingly enough, most cereals don't have dairy in them. So instead of using like normal milk, look, I'm a bit of a man-child. I eat cereal literally every morning. I've been doing that for like a year and a half now. Instead of normal milk, I just use coconut milk. I put the coconut milk in there, and then I'll pour my cereal in. And you may think coconut milk, but trust me, like when you're eating cereal, the milk basically, it literally tastes the exact same as cow's milk. When you get to the end of the cereal and you have that little bit of milk left in the bowl and you go to drink it, like, yeah, there's a bit of a coconutty aftertaste that tastes a little bit different than cow's milk, but you can barely notice it. And even then, I actually prefer the taste of coconut milk, and it jives with cereal just as well as normal milk does. I can even eat most like chocolate cereals and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. There's only a few that I can't eat. The only one I can think of that I can't eat because it has milk in it is Crave cereal. Outside of that, I can eat literally any other cereal. Anyways, next up we have another Reese's. Oh, I used to love these because these are literally, they are basically just Reese's peanut butter cups, except they're just kind of shaped a little bit differently, you know. The Reese's Eggs, they're essentially the same thing, but you know, the texture is a little bit different. However, these eggs right here, these are essentially just Reese's peanut butter cups, just shaped differently. Like, there's no texture difference, there's no density difference, it's just Reese's. I absolutely loved these back in the day as well. Now, if I'm gonna be 110% honest, I cannot for the life of me read what the heck this is. It is a caramel egg. I honestly don't think that I've eaten this one before, so I'm just gonna have to put that in haven't eaten. Is that one actually good? Am I missing out on a lot there? And now it's time for the hot takes. These hollow bunnies, I actually love hollow bunnies. I'm gonna rank the other one as well. I remember the exact shape of this one, and I remember the exact shape of this one. I've been gifted both multiple times, or at least I was back when I was a kid. And I actually really love these. There's something so satisfying about just like biting into them and then like working. I don't know. It's just, I love hollow bunnies. I don't really have a preference. I could eat a hollow bunny or a full not hollow bunny. I like both of them. And plus, when it comes to like capacity and how much I'm able to eat at one sitting, you know, I'm not able to eat a whole lot. I've always just kind of been like that. So when it comes to these bunnies, I always love these because for somebody that you know, can't eat a lot at one time, I'm able to sit down and genuinely just eat one of these bunnies in one go. Next up, we got jelly beans. Like I said, I promise there will be things going in tiers outside of the S tier at some point, but jelly beans, another one, going straight into the S tier. I love jelly beans a lot. I can't tell you how many times I took those, like, if you guys remember those little packs of jelly beans that they would like give you at like school. Each one would maybe have like, I don't know, 6 or 8 jelly beans in it. I used to love those little things. I'd open up like 2 or 3 of them at a time, just dump them all in my hand and just go for the handful. I love jelly beans, and thankfully I think I'm still able to eat those. So like I said, even though I don't do a whole lot of sweets, those are one of the ones where I'd be like, hey, you know what, I'll break that rule. I'll take into some jelly beans. Mini eggs. Ooh, okay. See, I really like the mini eggs, but I don't know if I can necessarily put them in the S tier. Like, I really want to put them in S because I do like them. They are really good, but do I like them as much as the other ones? I don't know. Like, they're really yummy, but they're not one of those ones where I could just sit there pounding egg after egg after egg after egg the way that I could with like a Reese's or a Bunny or a Peep or M&M's or whatever. So I think I'd have to put it in the A tier because it's one of those where you eat 1 or 2 of them and you're like, all right, I'm good, because, you know, they're pretty dense. And while they're very, very tasty and I find them quite delicious, they're not one of those ones where I'm specifically like, oh, I really want a mini egg right now. Next up, we got these, I never honestly really knew what these things were. I used to see them all the time. They're like these colored jelly bean things. I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to put them in a B tier. Not bad by any means, but I never saw the point. I'd rather just go with like straight up normal jelly beans, you know what I mean? Like, you know, these aren't bad by any means, but again, it's one of those things where I gotta keep in mind, like, when I think of an S tier, for me, S tier is something that you would reasonably crave and then think to yourself, oh, I really want that. But when it comes to like these jelly beans here, I'm never thinking to myself like, ooh, I specifically want those jelly beans. Ooh, I specifically want mini eggs. No, I'm just thinking, hey man, I just want some jelly beans. So for that reason, it's gonna go into a B, especially considering the fact that it's not really on the same tier as like mini eggs, for example, where those are still really delicious. It's just I don't find myself craving those as often. With these, it's like, they're good, they're yummy, but they're probably gonna go into the B for me because, again, like, why eat those when you could just have the traditional jelly bean experience? Robin eggs? Oh man, dude, I can't even tell you the last time that I had these. From what I remember, I think they're gonna have to go into a B, unless these are the other ones that I'm thinking where, like, when you bite into them, they almost like melt in your mouth in a sense, and they're almost like rather soft in a way. If those are the ones that I'm thinking of, then they may actually have to go into an A, but I'm not 100% confident. I kind of want to leave it in a B just in case. But I kind of want to give it the benefit of the doubt, because if it is the one that I'm thinking of, where it's like real good, it feels real nice to chew on, then I'll leave it in an A. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt if it's the one that I'm thinking about. Oreo egg, I've honestly never even had this, but I'm gonna put it into the S tier anyway. Like, could it be anything but S tier? It's an Oreo. I mean, sure, I'll be fair. I'll put it in haven't eaten just because I haven't eaten an Oreo egg specifically. I mean, I've eaten tons of Oreos in my day. I'm kind of like an Oreo fanatic. I eat Oreos literally every single day with my lunches as like a little dessert. I have 2 double stuffed cookies. I've been doing that every day as well for like almost a year and a half now too. Oreos are like one of the only cookies I can eat. Surprisingly, you would think Oreos would have dairy with like all the cream in the middle and stuff, but no, Oreos just don't have dairy. I can't even think of a single flavor that actually has dairy in it. I can eat the normal kind, peanut butter, golden, chocolate, peanut butter pie, like all the different flavors, toffee crunch, Java chip, like I can eat all of them. I'm also able to eat the Oreo O cereal, which is also one of my favorite cereals. I love that cereal. So with that being said, I'm sure the Oreo egg is great, and there's a chance I might actually be able to eat it, but I haven't gotten to eat it yet, so obviously I'll keep it and haven't eaten just because I haven't tried it, but I'm sure that it belongs in the S tier. Crunch, don't play with me, fool. That is going straight into the S tier. Crunch is such an underrated candy bar. Even though, again, I'm not able to eat it, I don't hear people talking about Crunch enough. That candy bar is so delicious. There's so many candy bars that aren't talked about enough, and it honestly makes me sad. I think like Crunch, Milky Way, Fifth Avenue, Zero, Third Musketeers, man, those were some of my favorites. I used to have a thing for Third Musketeers. Every time I go to the store, my mom always knew to get me a Third Musketeers just because she knew how much I love those things. I remember when I was like a real little kid, you know, playing on my PS2 or whatever. I can't tell you how many times she surprised me with like a Three Musketeers bar, man. That used to always make my day. Something about Three Musketeers, man, it's like, I don't know, it's like, I guess it's the texture and the taste, just like you bite into it, it's so smooth. But anyway, yeah, Crunch definitely deserves the S tier. Next up, we got these things, almonds. Wait, Jordan almond? I don't think I've ever even eaten these. I'll have to look into it and see if there's like any dairy in them. If there's not, I might actually give them a shot because they look interesting. Reese's Pieces egg. I can't remember if I had this before. If I didn't have the Reese's egg with pieces, then it was a normal Reese's peanut butter cup with Reese's Pieces in it. But I think it was an egg that I had. So that being said, I'll put it in the S tier because I'm pretty sure I've had that. However, even if I haven't had that one specifically, I've definitely at least had like a variation of it. Let me tell you. It was delicious. Finally, we got cream egg. Oh, wait, yes, I think that I've had these before. I'm trying to, like, call back to many, many years ago when I would have actually been able to eat this. And I do believe I've had it because these are the eggs where it's like you bite into them, they're kind of soft, and they got, like, this, like, almost pillowy texture on the inside, if I remember correctly. Again, this is another one where it's, like, it's really tasty, it's really good, and I want to put it in the S tier because I honestly feel like it deserves that from a flavor profile standpoint. However, I think I gotta keep it in the A because even though it's like, it's really delicious, it's not something that I find myself craving on the regular like I would with, say, a Reese's, a Peeps, M&M's, a Hershey's Bunny, even a Hollow Bunny, a Crunch. Again, it's like, it's super delicious, and I feel like it's almost on par with those S tier ones, but it's not one where I'd be specifically seeking it out often, and I feel like to be in the S tier, it has to be one where, like, year-round, you're waiting for it to come back, and, you know, with the cream eggs, while it's one that I look forward to eating, it's not one that I'm necessarily anticipating over Peeps or Reese's or M&M's, or it's not one that comes to mind over like a Hershey's bar or other chocolate bunnies. But anyways, this is my ranking of Easter candies. Now I definitely want to hear from you guys. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Would you rank these any differently? Whatever you're thinking, I'd love to hear from you guys. And I'm still really disappointed about the fact that I couldn't find any bunny ears. I wanted to wear them so bad for this video. I always try to stick with like the festive themes whenever holidays come around. Like on St. Patrick's Day, I wore that St. Patrick Star Wars shirt in the one Elden Ring video, and then background Christmas, I wore the Santa hat. But it is what it is. I'll just have to go through on Amazon and just like purchase some sort of thing for me to dress up in or wear for each holiday going forward just so that I can have it and make sure I'm prepped for it. Anyway, as always, a shout out to the patrons and channel members, Karma's Figure, Little Bitty Tab, Big Daddy, Manny, Lupasaurus, Rex, Ray, Zach, Polar, Ray, Webster, Lamas, Miaka, Spiritori, Drippy, Son, Mela, Lasking, Kuda, Imagine, Teacher, Y15, Film, Miss 1, Aaron Reynolds, and Unknown. But anyways, happy Easter, and if you're not watching this on Easter, well then, happy normal day of the year. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, have an amazing day, stay beautiful, I love you all, and remember, don't go hollow. Peace.